President Cyril Ramaphosa is meeting with the provincial executive there. In fact, that gathering with the leaders of the province is part of a series of engagements that are aimed at essentially fostering intergovernmental coordination and improving service delivery. The Premier of the province, that's Mandla Dlovu, is currently speaking. Let's listen in.
Facilities as well as to our social infrastructure like water, sanitation and roads. I want to caution our people on the upheaval that is not settling down in Mozambique since the outcome of the general and presidential elections. If possible, I want to request people to temporarily suspend using our route as a gateway to Mozambique. Mozambicans must learn from us South Africans because since 1994, all political parties accepted the outcome of the elections. We regard elections outcome as the will of the people. Mpumalanga is a beautiful province with majestic tourist attractions like the God's Window, unique to Mpumalanga, where the sun was made in the low veld. We encourage people, including you, our hard-working public representatives, led by the President and officials, to come and enjoy your holidays here in our province. We are looking forward to a fruitful engagement and positive outcomes. We are committed to work with all of you and take Mpumalanga and our country to greater heights. Once again, you are welcome. It is indeed our pleasure to have all of you in our province. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier, with the kind and inspiring welcoming remarks. It therefore gives me pleasure to take this opportunity and request the President to make his opening remarks as he is leading the cabinet to the province of Mpumalanga. Your Excellency, the opportunity is yours to lead the discussion.
Thank you, Minister Thabisa, Premier of our province, Mr. Mandla Dlovu, ministers and deputy ministers who are here present, and MECs of our government here in Mpumalanga, the officials from our various departments in government, both at the national and provincial level, and ladies and gentlemen. Premier, thank you for welcoming us. I'm glad to know that I am in a place where the sun was made and where the sun also rises. Those are most beautiful descriptions of your province. I'd like to thank you, Premier, for assembling your MECs and various officials for us to be able to have this engagement with the provincial government that you lead. But I'd also like to thank my colleagues from national level for embarking on this long journey, not so long, but long enough, from Pretoria and some from Cape Town to participate in this engagement. This is our third engagement with our provinces. We decided that we would go around the country ourselves as national government to go to visit our provinces and have engagement with the executive councils. We've previously met with the provincial leadership of Limpopo and KwaZulu-Natal. And over the next few months, we plan to visit the leadership of all our provinces at least once a year. What we have embarked upon is in the realm of cooperative governance, which is mandated by our Constitution. There is an obligation on all spheres of government, as set out in our Constitution, to cooperate, to collaborate, to consult on matters of common interest, and therefore to work together. At the same time, it is important also to respect the scope of the respective powers and functions of each sphere of government as set out in our Constitution. Our experience over the last 30 years of democracy is that economic and social development requires much greater integration of the work of national, provincial, and local government. And as we embark on this work and gain more and more experience, we are finding that there's great credence in having this type of interaction, more particularly because the provincial government is much closer to the local government, where everything happens that affects the lives of our people. And it is for this reason that we launched the district development model in 2019. We did so because we no longer wanted programs and projects to be conceptualized far away from the realities of the conditions that prevail on the ground. We no longer wanted to just work in silos. And in fact, we have found that it is so much beneficial to work in an integrated way to address and solve problems. We have tested this approach very well with what we have done in one of our metros, which was facing enormous challenges. And now that the district development model is playing itself out effectively, we can see that there's greater progress in addressing the challenges of one of our big metros. We agreed that we needed to get closer together as the different components and spheres of government, which is what this engagement does for us. We need to plan together, to budget together, and to implement together. In support of the district development model, there needs to be open channels of communication between provincial authorities and their counterparts in national government. And similarly, the same should obtain even with local government. It is our expectation that this meeting will set in motion a more structured as well as a regular form of cooperation between the national and provincial executives. We come to Mpumalanga really excited by the great potential that exists in this province. We're here to come and hear exactly how you, as the leaders of the province, are conceptualizing your dreams and your ambitions for this province so as to improve the lives of the people of our province here. We know that the province faces enormous challenges. The unemployment rate in Mpumalanga is higher than the national average. And we know that nearly half of all young people in the province are unemployed. More than half the population live below the lower bound of the poverty line. For Mpumalanga, exclusive economic growth and job creation must therefore be at the forefront. I meant to say inclusive economic growth. It must be at the forefront of all the efforts that we can ever embark upon. but we should be able to do so with our social partners. Like other provinces, Mpumalanga needs to grow faster and grow the economy in a much faster way so that many more people can benefit. Fortunately, this province has many advantages. It has many comparative advantages that it can use to drive growth and development. And it is this that we would like to hear this morning, because you do, as a province, have a number of wonderful endowments, but you have also been able to achieve a great deal in a number of other areas. Mpumalanga can literally be South Africa's engine growth. In fact, you are the powerhouse of our country. All the electricity that we currently have is generated from here. So in the end, you are the powerhouse. You give the whole nation power. So you can be proud of that. And it is a comparative advantage that you have, because most of our electricity coming from here, fueled by the abundant coal reserves that you have in this province. Mpumalanga will therefore continue to be vital to the social and economic development of our country for many years to come. For this reason, the province will also be at the center of the just transition to low-carbon economy. And these are some of the discussions that we ought to have with yourselves to see how best, as in Mpumalanga, we can actually turn the tide around so that greater benefit can flow from this era that we are getting into of low-carbon economy. And this presents both challenges and opportunities. We need to ensure that this transition does not damage the livelihoods of our people in this province. Rather, we must plan and invest in the new technologies, new industries, and we also must be able to skill our people, to reskill them, as well as to upskill them into jobs that are needed by the new era that we are getting into, so that we can build thriving communities. This is a fertile province which has the ability to sustain a wide variety of agricultural activities. And somehow I'm glad that you highlight agriculture as one of the engine growths of your province. Now, Mpumalanga, apart from everything else, precisely the point you were making, Premier, is a province of natural splendor. It has long been a destination for visitors from across South Africa and from across the world. We are encouraged by the determination of the province to invest in the infrastructure that will be able to attract investment as well as to attract people to come and visit your province. This infrastructure is necessary for economic development, whether it is through improving the roads on which mining materials are carried, or the facilities for the marketing of agricultural production, or upgrading of tourist sites. This infrastructure is also important for improving the daily lives of the citizens of the province, from bulk water infrastructure to hospitals, to clinics, to bridges, and to schools. This aligns with the national government's focus on massive infrastructure investment. We have determined that we would like to make our country a building site or a construction site. And we know that you have as an ambition to ensure that this happens here in your province as well. It is vital that we build linkages between the province and entities like Infrastructure South Africa and the Infrastructure Fund. Our efforts must therefore be through coordination and integration. I have found that it is when people work together as individuals in their various responsibilities and as entities across their various capacities and competencies that we are able to achieve much more. In my meeting with other provinces, I've said that one of the aims of this new collaborative approach must be aligning the efforts that leverage respective comparative advantages of our provinces. Different provinces have different resources and capabilities and different offers that they can make for the continued growth of our economy. As a country, we must make sure that these are developed to their fullest potential, and that as we work, we complement each other on what we are good at. And it would be good if our provinces are able to carve out areas in which they are really excellent, so that as we look at each of our provinces, we must go beyond saying, this is the province where the sun was made, this is the province where the sun rises, but we must say this is the province that is excellent in doing A, B, C, D. Now, I'm accompanied, Premier, by a number of ministers and deputy ministers, and it is their responsibility to work with the province to help build its capabilities and to also help build the economy and to enhance development that will meet the needs of our people. And we do look forward to the presentation that will be made by the province, and we also look forward to what we can take forward from the presentation that will be tabled here. And I do want, through the presentation that will be made, to be able to see what the province's ambition is. I'd like our provinces to have great ambitions themselves, which will be meshed together with our national ambitions as we implement our key priorities, particularly the priorities we've set ourselves out as a government of national unity, which, as we set out, we said we will work together as 10 political parties to advance the livelihoods and the lives of our people, and that is what brings us together. And we do hope that as you articulate your ambitions today, we will be able to mesh them together with our national ambitions so that we can take not only this province forward, but South Africa forward as well. So for me and my colleagues from national government, it is a real pleasure to be here. And I look forward to the exchange of views and the interaction that will take place as we exchange views between yourselves and members of the National Executive who are here present. So, Minister, thank you very much for leading this process, and Premier, thank you very much for welcoming us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so there you have it, the situation as it unfolds in Middelburg, that's in Mpumalanga. If you've just joined us, national government is essentially engaging the provincial leaders of the province. All of this in an attempt to try and improve intergovernmental relations between what happens at a national and a provincial level. Hopefully, the outcome ultimately will be improved service delivery for the people of Mpumalanga. A couple of ministers, by the way, are in that room. I won't go through that list. It really is a a sizable number of them. But we also have heard from the president saying that the unemployment rate in Mpumalanga is above that of the country's average. He says this is a clear sign that the growth in that province needs to be improved. He's also touched on the fact that Mpumalanga really is the powerhouse of the country, at least if you consider the number of power stations that are in the province currently keeping the lights on throughout South Africa. Gusile, Komarti was shut down, but Duba Power Station, for example, is also there. The president also saying that they're here to hear how the government of Mpumalanga is hoping to improve the lives of residents in that particular province.